Hello, this is GitKraken56, and this is my 7th Minecraft Forge modding tutorial. It's been a while, but I plan to do quite a few in the next few weeks, as I have quite a lot of free time since it's Christmas time. So in this tutorial, it's going to be pretty short. We're just going to update to 1.11, which is pretty easy. I'm now on a new version of IntelliJ IDEA 2016.3, so the interface looks a little bit different, but everything's pretty much the same anyway. And also I'm on a new Windows installation, so I need to reset up the run configurations, but you shouldn't need to if you've still got your workspace. So 1.11 is not too bad. We just need to change our build.gradle file, which I have open here, and we just need to change this version number here, so I'm going to change it to 1.11 latest, and then the MCP snapshot, so that is 2016-1208. If you want to stay on 1.10.2, change your mappings to stable 29, because whenever there's a new Minecraft version out, the last mappings that they do for the previous version becomes a stable one. And it's a good idea to have a stable one rather than a snapshot. So we are going to change this to the new ones because quite a lot of things have changed. There's this pretty helpful repository here that has a wiki that basically shows a bunch of the changes to names of things. So here's everything from 1.10.2 to 1.11. So this is definitely pretty helpful. I'll link this in the description. But we probably won't need to look at this. This isn't going to be like a full 1.11 update thing, like for things I haven't covered. This is only updating what we currently have. So if there's something that's changed that we haven't used, then I won't mention it. But anyway, we have updated that file. Could have opened it in here and done it, whatever. It doesn't matter. So let's go and run. For some reason these are all in one thing, but that's fine. Is it all in alphabetical? Looks like it. Alright, so we've got to run this again. I'll create this again. And allocate 2 gigs to this. And then once it's done, I'll be back. Okay, so now that it's done, we can see that we have some errors. And also, this is my first time actually using this new version of IntelliJ, and look how cool this is. They show you, so for things that aren't like methods here, it shows you the name of the parameter, so it's less like just random numbers. So that's pretty cool. So we can see that this is the entity, this null. Anyway, something else I'm going to address quickly. I've seen that some people are commenting that they can't see the Gradle window. Although I guess people won't be watching this if they haven't got that far. But it's pretty easy to get open if it's not there. I mean, it should be by default there, but if it's not, just go here, View, Tool Windows, Gradle, and that gets this up. But that's you probably have figured that out if you're this far. Anyway, so there's not too much different actually here. We haven't used a lot of the stuff that has changed. One of the big changes is that there is no longer the item stack parameter in any of the like item stuff, so we need to change that a bit. So let's just fix this first. So spawn entity in world, well, I mean I could just look through, but it should be on here. Yep, see, so now it's called spawn entity. So that's easy enough, and I guess that makes sense in world. Well, it's going to be in the world because you're using world. It's a method inside the world, so of course it's going to spawn in the world. Completely makes sense. So what has changed? What have we got here? I'm pretty sure this is just without the item stack. In fact, if I just remove the item stack, we should have no errors. Yep. And then, what is chat message now? I'm pretty sure it's send message. Yeah, send message. So that is the block fixed. You know, that was pretty easy. Most of the things that if you have used other methods in this, most of the differences is just different parameters. And if now that you don't have the item stack, if you're using the item stack, just get the item stack from the player. You can do player dot active, get active item stack, and that will be the item stack that's in the active hand. Or you can get it from a specific hand if you need to. So you can get it from the main hand or the offhand. And again, we've got this, so send message. And then we don't have the item stack here anymore. And now we can just remove that because we don't have that. And again. And that is actually all the errors. So, pretty easy to update in this version. Nowhere near as bad as some versions, like going from 1.7 to 1.8. That was a nightmare. But this version is pretty nice. So, let's actually get our run configurations. You should already have these. But if you don't, just run get IntelliJ runs, which is taking longer than usual. Oh no, okay. And we need to fix these here and here. So let's run this up. And one last thing for this tutorial, since we're basically done. Okay, it's not okay. It didn't find those errors. Okay, this is easy. It now needs an item stack, so we just need to do new item stack. What else we got? That's all in this class. Oh yes, world of obj is now just world. Aha! Oh, it didn't pick up any of the errors here. That's weird. Okay, so actually there are a couple of things we need to change here. Those are all the errors, so it will run, but basically, if you want to check for a slot being null, like an empty slot, it's no longer null. It's now item stack dot empty. Because instead of having empty slots being null, they're now air. So, any checks where we check if the item in our hand is null, we need to change that to item stack.empty. And that is all we need to do. I believe that should be everything now. Assuming it hasn't missed any other areas. Oh, yep. Since I just installed this new update, it's now treating it like it's a new program because you have to run the installer again. I do like this new version actually. I think the labeling is very cool. For like this. This is cool. I'm sure you could turn it off though. I'm sure there'll be people who don't like this. Let's look at this. So I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but this link here is actually pretty useful to look at because these are basically in our build.gradle where we put the version, instead of putting the version number, we can use these different things. So you can see we have 1.11 latest and recommended, which are both the same right now. And of course we just have latest and recommended. So we can either go version specific or just go for the very latest and very recommended. So that is pretty easy to understand. Of course you can put in the specific version number. Let's do that so I'm not getting blinded by the white. And let's create a new world. Should have just done a super flat so it's super quick, but So assuming I haven't done anything wrong, we should be alright. Well, let's see. Well, this is fine. We still have these. And that explodes. And yep. And these turn into... What else did we have? Oh, yep. Okay. I don't know what else. What was the... It's been a while since I did this, that I've forgotten what some of the things we have. If it's a item, apple, flaming apple. Oh yeah, it burns us. And if... Oh, okay. Right, yeah. So we can burn entities. Yeah, okay. So everything's working fine. And we are definitely in 1.11, as you can see on there. And of course we've got some of the new 1.11 things. The stuff and... Yeah. And there's, yeah, like the Vindicator and stuff. Honestly, I haven't even played 1.11 yet, other than now. But that is actually all you need to do to update to 1.11, at least with this there. If you've gone further with your mod, then there are other things that have changed, but mostly it's renamed things. So all of this stuff has changed, like world OBJ is now world, the player is now just player. Like, these are the super common things that have changed. If you're using those a lot, then you need to change those. And you can see, like, there's been a lot of things kind of make more sense. Like, they've gone for a more unified naming thing, which is good. And also removing some of the unnecessary parts of names. So, like, get all the command methods. Instead of get command aliases, which is inside the command, so you know it's the command, it's now just get aliases. Which, yeah, it makes much more sense. And one last thing. Well, two last things, actually. I'm going to show you how you can build your mod so you can use it in your, outside of a development environment, and you can release it. All you need to do is run build. So this will build the mod. It's one thing to take note is that the naming scheme of the file that it makes is decided by this stuff. So make sure to change this, because we should get our lovely com.yourname.modid version 1.0, I believe. And okay, that is made. Let's go into our folder where I have it, which will be in here, build libs mod ID, okay, just mod ID, and we have the sources jar. I believe we can disable that, although I can't remember exactly how you do that. Oh, right, it's here. Yeah. If we set this to false, then it won't make that sources jar, which you might want this, I don't know. If you don't, then you can set that to false and it won't make this. It will just make this, which now you could put this in a standard Minecraft Forge install and release it as an actual mod. Of course, this actually doesn't necessarily matter, naming this, because you can just rename the file, but it is nice to have it name it for you. So that's how you build your mod. And in the first tutorial, I showed how to use Git for the mod. Well, we're using Git Bash, which, while it's perfectly fine, it's all command based, so it can be a little bit, well, it's not very user friendly, and some things are kind of difficult to do in a command line, and a GUI is much better. Now, I in the past have had pretty bad experiences with Git clients, but there is one I found called GitKraken, which I quite like, and I am now using it instead of Git Bash. And I just thought I'd show it because it's pretty cool. I like it. It's definitely a lot easier to use than Git Bash. And let's open up our repository, which I haven't got in here. So we open this up, and here we have all of our commits, and you can see the current one that we're working on here. We have all the files that we have changed, which we can view the changes quite nicely here. And not only that, we can see what's changed in all of our commits here. We can easily make branches and switch between branches. It's very cool. So if we want to stage our files, we don't have to do git add and then asterisk. We can just do stage all changes. So that's super nice. And then we can type our commit message. So I'm going to say 1.11 update. And then commit. And we can even amend easily enough if we want to change the name of the commit, which is very cool. As you can see, we can do that. And then we just need to push, and if there's been changes by other people that we want to pull, then we can just do pull, and it's very, very easy to do. So I'm going to push this, and that should have done it. So if we go over to let's just go to my profile, repositories, tutorial mod. Oh look, there we go, it has done it. And now you can see this, all of my source code for this current tutorial, like all the other ones, on here. And just a quick tip, if you didn't know, if you're new to GitHub and everything, if you want to look at the code for a specific tutorial rather than the newest, just go to the commits, and let's say we want to look at the 3D models one. We can go here and click browse files, and now we can browse it as if this is all of the stuff that was done after the 3D model tutorial. So that has been my tutorial on updating to 1.11 and some other things. So next tutorial is going to be on GUIs and is going to be very, very long. At least I'm pretty sure it will, because there's a lot to talk about in GUIs. And since there's so many different ones, there's going to be multiple tutorials on GUIs, because there's different types of GUIs, and I want to have like each tutorial focus on each. But probably expect the tutorial to be at least an hour long, I'm going to say. Could be longer. doubt it'll be shorter than an hour, to be honest, because you can do a lot with GUIs, and GUIs is just very complicated, but also once you understand them, they're very, very useful. And you can make cool looking things. Anyway, I've been rambling on enough for the end of this video, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. If this video helped you, then give it a like, and if you want to see more, subscribe, and if you want to support me, go to patreon.com/wehavecookies56.